I just tidied up and rearranged my entire office slash podcast studio. And let me just tell you, I'm a strong, independent woman that don't need no man. And I love men. I love men. I support men. I'm not a man hater. They are delicious, but I do not need a man. I was hauling this carpet and this couch in multiple different directions, and we finally landed on the format we like. And I feel mentally at peace because everything is finally in its place. Ugh, slay. Hello and welcome back to Human to Human. My name is Jessica Jane, and when I was saying we, I meant me. I was the individual in this office just absolutely tearing it apart, rearranging, throwing shit out, getting everything organized. And I'm just so grateful because we are in episode 2 of this new season. And something I want to tell you about this office before we get into the point of this entire episode is I mentioned last week that I am writing a book, and it was a bit of a community call out of does anyone know of any writing groups or any sort of, I don't know, memoir communities I can join or be a part of, because I'm just really craving conversation and community around this thing that's really hard that I'm working on. That's really fun. And something related to this book is I have been journaling since high school, and shout out to this one chick in my art classes who told me she numbers her journals like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So I started doing that in grade 10, and I have kept these journals in boxes. Eventually I will read through them to contribute to this book if they're even legible. But right now behind me, I just set up an hour ago a bookshelf that has all of my journals on display. And this feels very vulnerable, but feels very exciting. And like I'm starting such a new chapter of no, these journals are not going to sit in a box and be something I'm ashamed of and terrified someone will read, because I'm actually going to choose to take things from them and put it in a book for people to read. And I'm just I'm like pointing to it behind me like you can see it. I'm so grateful this is on display. I think it's a way to inspire myself to continue to write. And on the bottom of the shelf, there's literally how many? It's A to Z. My grandma didn't number her home videos by numbers. She numbered it by letters, and she ran out of letters because she made so many home videos, so many home DVDs of us as kids, that they were also in a box. And she just bought me a DVD player so I can watch them. And I put them all on the bottom shelf of my journal shelf. So now there's like this beautiful little shelf that just had a bunch of random junk on it before, that's now in my office, and I love it. And I'm so grateful that I even have an office and I can say that. So we're starting today off on a very good note. Let's take a deep breath. Let's just settle into the episode today. I am very excited to be sharing all the little information, these little nuggets that I have accumulated into my wellness regime that we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be going through in pretty detailed format of the different supplements I take, the different things that I do to support my body, because I treat myself like I'm an athlete now, and I think I need to, and that's okay. And there's no need to be shameful about that, because I spend an absurd amount of time in a sauna. If you missed last week's episode, I work at a place called Othership. It is a sauna and cold plunge place, but it's like so much more than that. It's so much fun. And a lot of people will come and they'll spend 20 minutes in the sauna and then do an ice bath, maybe spend another 10, 15 minutes in the sauna, and they'll go home. I spend maybe we're in and out of the sauna a lot. And then when you do multiple classes in a day, which is rare, you only usually do 2 maximum, you end up spending over an hour, maybe over 2 hours. I don't even want to know. I don't want to calculate. So this is very intense. Obviously, you lose a lot of sweat. And I was into wellness before this, but now I'm hardcore dialed in, making sure I'm feeling good and I am recovering well. I am fueling myself. And I think it's really, really important. And I'm going to share this just because I've had some friends ask about it and I'm really passionate about it. And last week in the first episode, back to posting again, I talked a lot about feeling really happy and feeling like my life feels really good and I'm in a really good place. And I want to now discuss how that doesn't just happen out of nowhere. That takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of consistent daily effort with not only lifestyle, but like how you're feeling yourself, what you're putting in your body. And don't get me wrong, let me give you a little backstory. I grew up eating chicken burgers, chicken fingers, plain pasta with basil, margarine, and Parmesan cheese, thinking it was a full meal. I'm sorry, that has zero nutritional value in it. Maybe a little bit of carbs. And so the thing about that is that I actually struggled a lot with how I felt physically. I felt really, really depleted. I would have energy crashes all the time. Literally up until a month ago, I was eating and crashing and getting bouts of big energy and then completely crashing, and it just was completely unsustainable to the point where I have like sobbed and been like, I feel like I literally cannot function like a normal adult human because I don't have consistent levels of energy. So I have worked really hard and I continue to work hard, and there's still so much more for me to learn to figure out how I can best support myself and not be in that place where I was, especially as a kid, where when I was in elementary school, I would go all day without going pee. I refused to use the bathrooms in my elementary school. And honestly, Jess, fair enough. They were fucking gross. But also, I was clearly drinking no water. And I remember being in high school and finishing a really long day. I'd be at school all day and then I'd be at rehearsals for musical theater stuff. My mom would pick me up and she would always have food for me because my stomach would hurt. So I dealt with a lot of just like energy struggles, and like everyone always said like Jess is such a picky eater and like she's eating all the time and she's never full. And so yeah, there's just been a lot of things I've navigated with that. And as I'm already getting into it, I'll give a big disclaimer that if this is something that's triggering for you, if this is something you've struggled with, feel free to skip this episode. I'll also give you a warning before I get into more of the food related stuff. I'm not going to talk about it in great detail. I'm just going to share what's really helped me in terms of my meals and how I think about them and ways that's really improved my energy. But if this is something that you've struggled with, I know food is a very sensitive topic for almost all of us for varying reasons. I'm really, really grateful. I haven't struggled with disordered eating specifically, but I absolutely have struggled with food, with fueling myself, and with comments from family. Like I literally still get comments all the time about my eating. I was at Easter the other weekend and both my grandmas were over. And as soon as I came upstairs, I had just finished a shift at work. I was making myself dinner and my mom asked if I was hungry. And my grandma goes, "She's always hungry." And it's like, I just finished a 5-hour shift. I would like to fucking think I'm hungry. I was just in a sauna. And my other grandma, then I sit down, I start eating, and she looks at me and she goes, "What's wrong with your face?" I'm like, "That is my acne. Thank you so much." And you know what? Talk about boomers. I don't take it that personally because I know, or at least I hope they don't mean it in a negative intent. But I am working very hard to feel good in my body and support my skin as well. I'll get into some of the supplements I'm taking that are supporting my skin. And to go full circle to where I started this tangent, I would like to do a different community call out this episode. Last week's was about writing groups, so please message me on Instagram at with Jessica Jane if you have any insight into some writing accountability communities I could potentially join. And my second community call out of this episode is I have really my skin's gotten to a really good place. I'm so grateful. I actually don't have any active pimples. I have one on my cheek, but we're going to pretend like I have no active pimples on my face right now. But however, I will not believe it is scarring because scarring kind of implies that it will never go away. But I do have marks on my cheeks and my chin from where I had acne a lot in these past 6 months to a year. And so I'm very curious if anyone knows anything that could support this. Basically what I think in my head needs to happen is like my skin just needs to like form new skin. Like your skin, like dead skin falls off and new skin comes up. And from also this episode, you'll kind of get a gist of I feel very woo woo, very hippie about a lot of these things. And so something like a chemical peel does not resonate with me. If you want to give me a deep explanation of the why, what a chemical peel is, what it could do for me, how it wouldn't hurt my skin, I'm open to learn. I want to know. But if you know of any natural remedies or you know of anything that could help my skin marks from the acne go away, I would deeply appreciate it. Again, feel free to leave it in the comments here or message me on Instagram at @withjessicajane. Okay. I think those are all the disclaimers. I will actually give one more, that I am just a chick on the internet. I don't have a medical degree. I literally, before I started recording, was like, we need to know that I know what the why is of taking each of these things and putting these things in my body. So let's find that out. And so please take all of this with a grain of salt. Please know that I am just doing what I know and putting this stuff into my body. And it's merely a suggestion. And also, it's going to be quite a hefty roundup. So don't feel like you need to do this at all, period. And also, if you feel inspired and you want to do some of it, I recommend starting with one or two things. These wellness regimes have been things I've implemented over the past several years, and it's taken a long time. And even in terms of eating and stuff and feeling myself well, I felt extremely overwhelmed with even the process of like figuring out how to eat a well-balanced meal. And it takes time. And once you implement one thing, then you slowly build that habit and then you don't think about it as deeply and then you're able to slowly implement more things. So without further ado, let's take a breath. See, that's why. Let's take a deep breath and let's get into it. That was misleading. I apologize. The final thing I wanted to say before we get into all the things is that I love taking care of myself in this way, and I love making sure I have a full wellness stack of things that are going to help me just take care of my body, because it becomes this like cyclical circle of like, when I pour into myself, all of these things give back to me directly and I feel better and I have better energy and my skin improves and my sleep improves and I can show up better and my mood swings aren't so extreme. And so that is why I do this, because feeling good is something that takes so much effort and so much intentionality. And I have felt the ripple effect of when I do this versus when I don't do this, especially certain days you're like, I don't fucking feel like taking my vitamin D drops. Okay, don't do it for a week. But then, don't get mad when you might feel like, I don't know, less energetic. And then take it and see if it makes you feel better. So for me, like, I would way rather put in the effort to do these things and reap those benefits than to like feel like shit and then be like, why do I feel like shit? And then not do anything to try to fix it. Let's get into it. I want to start with my evening regime. It is my simplest one. It is the one that I've had going for the longest. Number 1, magnesium supplement. I take this supplement before bed, and it's hilarious when I think about the why. The why is so important for all of this stuff, because if we forget why we're doing it, then we'll stop doing it. And I have stopped many of these practices because I forgot why I was doing it. Magnesium. I remember getting told by a holistic nutritionist years ago that we're all deficient in magnesium, and I don't really remember anything else she said. So take magnesium. And I started laughing to myself today. I think I knew like magnesium supports sleep and that's why we take it at night and we're all deficient, so take it. Great. But I like truly didn't know deeper why I was taking magnesium. And I started laughing because I'll get into all the other things I take to support the fact that I sweat so much at work. And a big thing I'm replenishing is magnesium. And so I was like, Oh, you silly little bitch. You're taking magnesium every night because when you sweat, you lose some of that vitamin or supplement or I don't or mineral or I don't know, whatever it is, whatever magnesium is in the body. Again, not a professional, but magnesium is my number one. Take it every night and I'd use the Can Prev brand. Ordered off Amazon today. Also, none of this is sponsored. If any of these brands would like to sponsor me, I would deeply appreciate it. Number 2. Every single night, I take a supplement called, and I always pronounce it wrong, quercetin. I used to call it quercetin or quercetin. I'll just spell it for you. Quercetin. Now, again, I think I should know the why of this a little bit more intensely, but it literally says for good health. And the backstory of why I started taking this was I would get sick a lot. I'd get colds. I actually got COVID over 2 years ago, I want to say. So I got COVID once, like during all the COVID shit. And then it was like way out of COVID times. I got COVID again. I went and visited some friends in Montreal. And when I came back, I had a really sore throat and I tested positive for COVID. And I was like, WTF. And so a friend of mine was like, you should be taking quercetin and you should be like doing cold plunges when you're feeling good. Not when you're under the weather, but when you're feeling good, like make sure you're doing cold plunges, cold showers, etc. Obviously, I love my cold plunges, but I started taking this supplement and I have literally not gotten sick since then, which is like, when I was a kid, I used to get sick so often. And I mean, it makes sense. I was doing nothing to support my immune system. And now I feel like I'm doing a lot to support my immune system. So quercetin, like if I was to say, like incorporate 2 supplements, like, and I have no idea your circumstance of your life, those are the 2 that I would say to take. And those are just my evening regime ones. It's super easy. It's really, really great. And yeah, it feels so good. Now, I do mix things up a little bit in the evening when I am in my luteal phase, which is the phase after you ovulate. When you're done ovulating, your body is like, I'm mad at you because you didn't get pregnant. So your mood fluctuates can happen and your hormones start shifting. And I notice specifically for my body that I will wake up so many times in the night. I'll fall asleep fine, but then I'll like have just like a really weird light sleep and I'll just be like waking up a lot. And so I experimented and I started taking this deep sleep supplement. And during my luteal phase, this deep sleep supplement will be like a replacement for my magnesium. This is going to be wow. This episode is going to be a mouthful, I think, because these are words I don't typically just say out loud. This will be a deep sleep supplement will be the replacement for my magnesium because the deep sleep supplement by Genuine Health, it has magnesium in it. It has melatonin, it has GABA, it has a couple other things. And I've noticed that when I take this supplement, oh bitch, I sleep like a fucking rock. Sometimes too deeply to the point where I want to experiment with like a different supplement because I feel like I'm waking up out of a coma. I have taken this for quite a while, and previously I didn't feel this extreme about it. I feel like I would wake up and be like, damn, I just slept so deeply and I feel great. I think it's because how much sauna time I'm experiencing at work that this is like heightening my coma like sleeps. But when I'm in my luteal phase, I find this really, really helps. And so I won't take the magnesium. I'll just take the deep sleep supplement with the quercetin or quercetin or however the fuck you say that supplement. And it really, really helps. And then once I start spotting and my period's about to start, then I stop taking the deep sleep and I go back to my magnesium. So that is my evening regime. Now, before we go to my morning regime, because that one's extensive, I want to talk about my sick regime. So if I feel like I have a sore throat or I'm feeling really under the weather, I'm about to get sick, I have 2 supplements that I will go to. One of them is called bee propolis, like BEE, and then propolis, literally like bumblebees, and it's a source of antioxidants. This is something that if I'm like especially feeling like I have a sore throat, I'll just pop one of those supplements. I do believe that the liquid is a better form, but I actually bought this bee propolis like a year ago when I was on vacation and I was about to get sick, so they just had the supplement version. I still have a bunch left. It's great and I haven't gotten sick when I have popped those. So love that. The second one is my mom and I have always called it oil of oregano, but it actually is organic oregano oil. I mean, same shit. It says extra strength, also an antioxidant. They're both the Holista brand. And this is one that I've used like as a kid growing up whenever we would get sick. And I try to incorporate it into my regime now, especially if I'm feeling under the weather or just really, really tired. And it tastes like shit. Oh, bitch, does it ever taste like shit? So how I do it is I put a little bit of warm water in a cup, put a bunch of drops in there, and then I'll shot it, like I'll take it really quickly like a shot of vodka, and then I will chase it with a ginger shot immunity shot. And so like ginger shots and stuff like you can get at like a store and shit. But my mom and I will actually make them from home sometimes, so that we'll have them from scratch. I haven't taken this today and I really think I should, especially because I don't want my ginger shots to go bad. And ginger shots are really great homemade ways to give yourself a big source of like vitamin C and put some ginger in there, get your immune system up. We'll put oranges, we'll put lemons, we'll put ginger, maybe a few other things. But yeah, anyway, love a good ginger shot. It tastes like garbage. But the ones we make at home actually aren't as strong, I feel like, of a taste than the ones we buy in store. And I also prefer to make them at home because when you're buying them in store, like they're meant to last a long time. So I'm like, there's gotta be some kind of preservatives in there. Like, or else how the fuck are they selling them at Costco, you know? Actually, while we're sitting here, I'm gonna take a bee propolis. These actually kind of taste bad. Okay. All right, let's go to my morning routine. This one is a little bit more extensive. So when I wake up in the morning, I like to have a nice warm lemon water. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure someone has said if you put lemon into boiling water, it takes away some of the like benefits of it. But I do that every morning, so maybe we should fact check that. But it's just a great way to like wake up your body with nice warm beverage. I don't drink coffee, I don't drink caffeine. It's not because I'm some woo-woo sainty little bitch. It's because I just never got into it. When I was in high school, I remember going to Tim Hortons and getting like a cafe mocha, which is a hot chocolate mixed with coffee. And I remember it literally making me feel like I was on drugs. And somehow I am dating someone who also never got into coffee. And so we are a caffeine free, for the most part, relationship. And it's really nice. And he was like, don't fucking get into it, because he's like, I don't want to deal with you being all like, oh my God, I need my coffee. I need my coffee. Sorry, not to, no offense to you. I'm sure you are probably someone who drinks coffee, because I swear like 95% of our world drinks coffee. But yeah, so we don't drink coffee, so it's not something we're drinking in the morning. We don't really drink caffeinated tea either at all. I'm not really even on tea anymore. I'm back to my lemon water in the morning. So I really enjoy that. And it's a really great way to like kickstart your digestive system. So then on an empty stomach, this was recommended specifically on an empty stomach by a naturopath that I saw temporarily while I was having my acne issues when they were really, really bad, and I had insurance. LOL. Now I don't have insurance, so my benefits that are non-existent will not cover anything like that. But they covered a naturopath when I was at a different job. And she recommended taking a probiotic and taking it on an empty stomach in the morning. And this is something that I used to do a lot, was take a probiotic supplement to BH. They're kind of expensive, so I got off of it for a long time. But when I first started taking a probiotic a couple years ago, it was because I was getting yeast infections all the time. I was using a Diva cup, and I don't think I was properly understanding how to clean it consistently. And so I got yeast infections every month for 6 months. And so eventually saw a holistic nutritionist, Holistically Humble on Instagram. I love her. Katie is literally the best. And so she was like, you should be taking a probiotic. And then I stopped for a while. It was expensive, and I forgot the why. The why for me was like, I wasn't getting yeast infections anymore, so I don't need to like be supporting all that good bacteria in my coochie, for lack of a better word. But I mean, honestly, that's something I want to be supporting consistently, but it's like literally when you forget the why, you stop doing it. And so when I started having all this acne, I was like, I need to be supporting my skin again. So I am taking a probiotic, recommended by my friend Taya. Her Instagram is Nourish with Taya. She's in school right now becoming a holistic nutritionist, and she's also a personal trainer, and she's really awesome. And a lot of my new additions to my wellness regime are recommended by Taya. So shout out to all these wonderful people who are just helping me so much. So the one I'm taking right now is called Living Alchemy is the brand. It's a fermented supplement. It's literally your flora probiotic. And so it's for digestive, vaginal, and UT support. And I'm really glad I chose this one. It's in the middle in terms of price range. And yeah, you don't have to keep it in the fridge, which I need. I need to be able to see it to remember to take it. And yeah, I really want to be supporting my uterus and my gut flora and my I don't know if all these words make sense together, but I really want to support the health of my vagina basically because I'm using a Diva cup again and I have not gotten a yeast infection, and this is like month 4 or 5 I think, and I'm actually really not enjoying the Diva cup because it is very emotionally taxing sometimes to get it to fit and work properly, but I'm actually preferring it right now as my collection method. So I really want to support my health and make sure I'm not getting yeast infection, and just making sure like probiotics really help create more good bacteria. And when you take like an antibiotic, like it gets rid of a bunch of bacteria, so it's not really, I'm not that I'm on an antibiotic, but this is something that I've experienced in the past. If you take an antibiotic, it gets rid of a bunch of bacteria, including good bacteria, not just the bad bacteria. So probiotics really increase that good bacteria, which is very, very important for skin health, for coochie health, for belly health, for all the things. So number 1 in the morning, I always take my probiotic. Oh, another disclaimer I want to say is that obviously all of this costs a lot of money and is an investment in yourself. And something that Katie, Holistically Humble, who is my OG holistic nutritionist, something she said to me a while ago, because her dad was like, "Isn't all this stuff so expensive?" And she was like, "Honestly, I could pay now or I could pay later." And that mentality was like, I could pay for it in money right now or I could pay for it in my health later. And that I really resonated with, where like I want to feel good right now. And I mean, like I said, let's put it in perspective. Let's girl math this bitch. I am not buying coffee, so girl math, saving money on that. I am never getting Botox, girl math, saving money on that. Instead of paying for Botox, I paid for laser eye surgery and braces. And I want to live a healthy, long, fulfilling life. And I don't want yeast infections. I don't want an itchy coochie. And so I'm going to take a probiotic in the morning. And you know what? When I first started using my Diva cup, I would feel an itch during like my ovulation, which I think like your hormones are changing. And if you're going to get a yeast infection, for me, at least in my experience, that's when I would get my yeast infections, was during ovulation. And when I felt that itch, I was like, this is not happening. We are not getting yeast infections. So you know what? While we're on this track of thought, I will tell you about the other ways I help improve my good bacteria to prevent yeast infections. And this I started way back when I started getting them a lot this was 2021. It was when I first met my boyfriend. So that was a wonderful way to bond us, was to deal with yeast infections for the first 6 months of our relationship. But I figured it out. So everything's okay. And we got closer because of it. I will eat sauerkraut. I try to have it once a day, and this is fermented cabbage. Fermentation is a process. I don't know if I can properly explain fermentation, but in my knowledge, it helps like a lot of healthy probiotics occur when you're fermenting something. So cabbage turns into sauerkraut. That's the fermentation process that really, it has a lot of good bacteria that will support your body. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this and you know how to explain this way better than I do. But honestly, I'm also putting this in digestible terms, so I hope we're doing okay here. The second thing is kombucha. My mom's so funny. My mom's like, "Did you need any more kombucha?" She doesn't buy my groceries, but sometimes she'll like be like, "Do you have any kombucha?" And I'm like, "It's kombucha, Mom." She goes like, "Oh my gosh, I've never had ramen before." I'm like, "Mom, it's ramen." I love you. I'm sorry if you're listening. It's just cute and it's funny. And it happens a lot, like especially now dating a brown man. I'm like, we've been together for 4 years. But like he'll correct me and not say like basmati rice. He's like, it's basmati. Like it's basmati rice. And so my dad's like, "Oh, what's your favorite kind of rice? Basmati?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I know I'm so white and I sound so white, but I like now need to correct the whiteness sometimes." Back to the kombucha. Kombucha is another thing that goes through a fermentation process. And personally, I just love kombucha because again, like I don't drink coffee, I don't drink like um sodas. I don't have any like fun beverages in my life other than water's not a fun beverage, but I drink water literally all the time. So when I'm like having a meal, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm going to have some kombucha with it." And my favorite brand is Synergy, and I'll get like the really big bottle that's like $10, and then it'll last me like a good week at least. So those are the things that really help support my health, my good bacteria, all those things. Get my probiotics in because that will support so much. And I really feel so passionately about having glowing skin. We are getting there. We're getting close, my friends. And also having a healthy vagina because don't we all want that? So thank you for listening to my probiotic rant. Let's get back to the whole fucking point of this. So my morning, I wake up, I have my probiotic, and I drink my lemon water. The second supplement that I've started implementing, and this one I understand the why of it actually the least because I'm just like learning it now. But it's omega-3 and the brand is Nature's Way Nutri-C omega-3. I take 2 in the morning and this is to help reduce inflammation. I Googled what else it helps. Taya recommended this for me. So I'm like slay and she knows my goals for my life. So one of the functions of omega-3 fish oil supplements is that it helps improve brain function and it actually supports healthy skin and healthy eyes. And so obviously I'm taking it because I want to support my skin and have really healthy skin. But I just got laser eye surgery. And so I'm like, I want to support my eyes. Absolutely, 100%. Let's keep that up. So that's one of my supplements that my why isn't as strong for this omega-3, but I'm just giving it a go right now. And we'll see if it's something I keep on my regime. It depends on how much money I feel like spending on supplements next month or whenever I run out of that one. So that's my main morning roundup. And the other thing I really try to incorporate in the morning is vitamin D drops. If I were to recommend, even though I have no business recommending anything, if I were to recommend anything, it would be the magnesium, the quercetin. The quercetin only if you're someone who gets sick a lot. But number one, vitamin D drops, especially in the winter and specifically liquid form, because liquid form actually like your body absorbs it better. Wow, I just burped and it tasted like bee propolis. So there you go. Sometimes you just be burping taste of supplements. But vitamin D drops are so important because, well, especially for me, I live in a basement. I work in a basement. I'm on the subway all the time. And so I don't get as much sunlight as I definitely need. And I'm so grateful it's spring right now and the sun's coming out more. I will go into the backyard. I will lay there. I will soak it in as much as I can. But that vitamin D drop really, really helps support the lack of sunlight I get. Okay. And then these are honestly my favorite ones to talk about. I add 3 other things to a drink in the morning, and this becomes like my regular. I don't do this every single morning, but I definitely do this after a workout, and especially before work and especially after work. And these are the things that keep me very hydrated. So, number 1, when I work a lot in the sauna, I am losing a ton of I'm sweating a ton. And so when I sweat, I lose a ton of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. And so I need to put things back into my body to help me, re-up on those things. And the reason I feel so passionate about this is because I was literally having sauna hangovers. You heard that right. And this is like a term at Othership because when you're spending so much time in the sauna, you're losing so many of these essential minerals in your body. And if you're not replenishing them, I'm getting so passionate. I'm getting so passionate. I was waking up every morning and genuinely feeling like I got hit by a bus. I was feeling like I drank the night before and I didn't. I was feeling like I couldn't function very well that day. And now that I've been including all of these things, I have been feeling so much better. Number one, my favorite is the AMP hydration. AMP is an electrolyte and it is a Canadian based brand and it's very new, very up and coming. But before this, like the ones I would be taking would be like Element, which like Element says everything you need and nothing you don't, but Element tastes very sugary and kind of also very salty, which it should. But the sugary part of it, I don't love. Same with like Liquid IV, sugar in it. Or my favorite one that I was taking for a while was an Organica brand. And again, it tasted like I was drinking a bunch of sugar. So I would have one a day, but I wouldn't have more than one because I'd be like, "Oh my god, like I'm definitely putting a bunch of sugar in my body," and it tasted like crack. It was so good. But I would prefer to be putting a sup or be putting an electrolyte into my body that does not have a bunch of added shit that you don't need. So in the AMP hydration, there's 300 milligrams of potassium, 600 milligrams of sodium, 36 milligrams of magnesium, and 910 milligrams. Wow, this is just so many words of chloride. And so there's no additives, it's all natural and it tastes like basically nothing. And that to me is such a green flag because I want it to feel like I'm not having a bunch of random shit putting in my body. So I love it. And I actually like DM'd them and was like, "Hi, I know you like give tubs, like we buy tubs off you for other ship, but you don't sell them on your website. They only sell like the sample packs or like the packs that are in just like individual like things that you have to like rip open and put in your drink." And like, look, those are great, especially for travel. But I would ration them like a crazy person and be like, "Oh my god, okay, I'm not going to use one today because like I don't want to like waste a packet." But I was like, "No, Jessica, you need to be doing this every single day." And so I literally DM'd them and was like, "Hey, can I get a tub?" And they delivered it to my house and it was wonderful. We have these tubs at Othership and we have like Othership does supply these things for us when we're at work because it's like intense the amount you need to be, re-upping on your shit. You just got to make sure, especially if you're in the sauna or you're working a 7-hour day, it's intense. But I want them at home because also like I like going for runs. I like working out and like if I'm experiencing a sauna hangover, I want to make sure I'm getting a ton of my electrolytes in. And these are things that like I never knew about as a kid. And like we all knew about like Gatorade, but like I never drank Gatorade and like I didn't know why Gatorade was even a thing. I wasn't a big athlete at all. And Gatorade has a bunch of sugar in it. So I'm really glad. Like I was literally daydreaming today. I'm like, oh, one day, like I was on a run today and I was like, one day when I have kids, like I want to be an active family. Like when I was growing up, like my parents weren't really into sports, which is totally fine. Like I'm not into sports, but like I wasn't like an active person. Like I danced. I grew up doing musical theater, which is great. It was definitely active, but like I didn't like being active. Like I dreaded going for a walk. Like I don't know, it took me a long time to get into taking care of my body and working out and doing those things for myself. So this is just something I'm now so passionate about as an adult. And I just, again, feel the benefits when I take care of myself well. So, number one in this drink that I will have in the morning, which is just water and vitamin D drops, a scoop of amp hydration, and then I'll put in Aussie Trace Minerals. This is, again, a source of an electrolyte. But I was having a moment at work chatting with one of my coworkers and I was saying how like I'm literally exhausted and she was like, "Are you having trace minerals?" And I was like, "What is that?" And I just ordered it off Amazon. It's just called Ocean Sourced Aussie Trace Minerals. And let me read you what it's in. What's in it? It has zero point 0.1 milligrams of calcium, 102 milligrams of magnesium, 45 milligrams of potassium, and 40 milligrams of sodium. And so, like, the third thing is Celtic salt. And again, that's just, there's a ton of minerals in there. So, all of these seem sort of similar, but they're just different forms of replenishing these minerals that we are losing when we are sweating excessively. And I actually looked at like our wellness hub for other shit before recording this episode. And it says every 20 minutes in the sauna, we lose about 1 pint of water, which is about 500 milliliters of water or like 1/8 of a gallon of water. But we lose 20 minutes in the sauna, we lose that, but we actually lose way more when we're leading a class and even more when we're leading an up class. And if you don't know, I teach up classes, which are very high energy. We're dancing in the sauna. It's like, a lot of output. And so I am definitely like losing. You are just drenched in sweat, like just dripping. I have never sweat like this in my entire life. And so having this little niche wellness roundup for my othership specific activities is so crucial. And I hate that feeling when like your mouth is just so dry. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. Another great way to tell if you're dehydrated is to look at your pee after you pee and see how yellow it is. I just went pee. It was so clear. Not to flex, but I felt like I was dehydrated. So I was like drinking a shit ton of water before I recorded this episode. And even right now, my mouth feels so dry. So it's just important to be aware of that and to know that, like, when you make sure you stay hydrated, it gives you lasting energy. And when you're peeing and sweating, they're both really good things because they're getting rid of the toxins in your body. And shitting, like, let's move on to the next thing I was going to say because I have been starting to take a protein powder. And my God, I have been pooping often. Okay. Let's just take a moment and conclude that juicy segment of all the different supplements I'm taking. If you are overwhelmed by this, then just throw it away. Think I'm crazy. That's totally fine. And also, do what you need for your lifestyle. Consult the people that you trust in your life. And I'm really grateful. I know quite a few different women in my life that I trust that have the more educated and knowledgeable experience to support with this stuff. And so I have noticed a big shift that's really, really helped me. Okay. I'm going to give a disclaimer here. I am going to get into some food related stuff because although all of these things help me and they support me and they really like replenish certain things in my body that I'm losing, food and nutrition is the number one thing, in my opinion, that affects our mood, our energy levels, and our ability to show up and feel good. And I have experienced it now in a way I never expected, where like I said, I was having complete energy crashes all the time, and I didn't realize it was because of how I was eating. So if you don't want to listen to the rest of this episode, you don't have to. That's totally okay. But if you are enjoying this episode, I just want to take this moment to thank you and just to ask that you share it with a friend or share it on social media or just tell someone you love about Human to Human because it really, really, really helps the show do better. It helps us just have more ears and eyeballs supporting the show. And I care so much about taking care of our bodies, our minds, our health, our mental health, our physical health. And I really want to inspire more people to do that. And with podcasts, it doesn't work the way that like Instagram works, where it's like my episode's going to go viral and everyone's going to find it. It does not work that way. It really, really helps through word of mouth to spread awareness about the show. So I'd really appreciate it. And if you do like listening, subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you can take 2 seconds to leave a review, that would mean so much to me. Okay, let's get into the food. I don't think I'll spend too much time on this, but my biggest takeaway from chatting with my friend Taya, again, her Instagram's at Nourish with Taya or Nourish Taya. Maybe I should find that out. I'll have it linked in the show notes so that you can find her and follow her because she's awesome. Yep, Nourish with Taya. So her and I were chatting and she knows I've been struggling a lot with my skin and she was asking about my eating habits and we ran through how I would eat normally in a day. And this was such a great like if you were to book a session with Taya, I think you'd get so much knowledge from it like I did in this casual convo with her, but like 10 times the amount because I wasn't paying her for this. We were just hanging out in my basement after we smoked a bit of weed. But I ran her through everything I was eating and she was like, girl, you are not getting enough protein. And the biggest thing she told me was about the core four. And I made up this word. Honestly, I made this up myself. Core four. In every meal, making sure you have a healthy fat, a protein, a fiber, and a carb. And honestly, before this, I was I was eating healthy. I was totally eating healthy, but I wasn't getting this well-rounded core four. And the thing I was missing the most was a healthy protein. And the purpose of this, and Teo would explain this with way more scientific understanding, is that like those 4 things help all of them like break each other down and it helps your energy stay more stable, which like helps your blood sugar stay more leveled. But like, for example, before if I was eating like avocado toast, but I had 0 protein, it's like my blood sugar spikes, but then it completely crashes. So I would eat and then I would feel exhausted or I would feel like so hangry before I ate and then I'd eat And then I would just like, I don't know, my mood would still be bad. Like I was having crazy mood swings. I felt like my energy was not consistently stable. But since I've started incorporating the core four, it's wild. I used to eat and then be like, there's no way I can clean up everything in the kitchen because I'm just way too tired now. And now I'm like, whoa, I could like clean my entire office and then like make sure I have a good, healthy, well rounded snack. And now I'm recording 47 minutes of this podcast episode. What? And I'm hungry. Don't get me wrong. Now I'm hungry. I haven't eaten a proper like meal in a couple hours. And so I'm like, I'm ready to muck my dinner after this. And I know exactly what it's going to be. And I will tell you actually. Let me just give you 3 examples of the way I'm incorporating this core 4. And before I get into that, sorry, one more thought. I'm not sorry. I can say whatever the fuck I want. This is my podcast. Before I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I need to make sure like I'm having like a veggie and a meat and a carb and yeah, like that's good. And I focused way more on thinking like vegetables were the cure to everything and not this like core 4 of fat, protein, fiber, carb. Even like especially fiber. Like I wasn't thinking about fiber at all. So my breakfast, how I described this to Taya, I was like, I eat chia seeds, not chia seeds. Oh my gosh, chia pudding. I don't just like straight up shove chia seeds in my mouth. I have chia pudding, overnight oats, and then like a source of fruit. And she was like, okay, slay, but like 0 protein in that. And it would not keep me full. So what I've incorporated into that now is I hard boil eggs and I literally like hide the eggs in my meal. I do take out the yolk because I just can't with the texture, but I put egg into like my overnight oats so I can barely taste it. And I've also incorporated some yogurt. So back when I was getting yeast infections, I completely cut out dairy for the most part, like 80% of the time. Now I've just incorporated like forms of dairy that are like not super processed and don't have a bunch of added shit in it. So the yogurt I'm eating is 0% Greek plain yogurt, and I found that that does not bother my stomach. But if I were to like eat pizza with cheese, I would be farting and it would smell really bad. So just experimenting with what feels best for my body is kind of the mentality I've had with my dairy intake. But so that's my breakfast. Raspberries are a great source of fiber. My overnight oats are a great source of fiber. And then I have the healthy, oh, do I have a healthy fat? I might not. Maybe that's why I honestly, my breakfast keeps me more full than I did before, but not super, super full. Oh. My good source of fat are seeds. Like I do have seeds in my overnight oats, but actually I've been slacking a little bit on making sure I have seeds. Okay. Wow. Love that we're discovering this in real time. There you go. My second example is my lunch, which actually today I'm going to have it for dinner, but I eat a lot of the same thing because I just like hyperfixate on certain foods. So that's why I'm saying like my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But a lot of the times for lunch, I'll have avocado toast. So avocado will be my source of a healthy fat. My toast will be a delicious sourdough bread that my mom buys from this place near her work that she goes to once a week because she only works in person once a week every Tuesday. And my mom will always go get me sourdough bread from this like beautifully focused on just sourdough cafe. Oh, it's so good. So that's my carb. Then I'll have tomatoes. And tomatoes, I Googled, actually are a great source of fiber, but it's also a vegetable. I think it's actually, no, that's controversial if that's a vegetable. Moving on. Roasted red pepper. And then the thing with this lunch is it's missing protein. So if I have some like ground beef that I made, I'll have that on the side. But the thing that Taya helped me incorporate is protein powder. And I have tried protein powders before, and she would call them terrible quality, shitty protein powders. And I can confirm because the protein powders I was trying were like pretty cheap, and they would literally give me the sharts. Like, when do you talk about someone actually having the sharts? I hope never. But I was constipated and needing to fart, and you know what a shart is. It was awful. So the lovely Taya gave me some of her protein powder to try. And so I was like, perfect. I'm not going to change anything in my diet. I'm just going to eat this protein powder and see if anything shifts, see if it bothers my stomach. And it didn't. And it kept me full. So what I'll do is I'll have my avocado toast and then I'll put protein powder in a smoothie. And in my smoothie, I'll have some spinach, some frozen spinach, some berries, some mango to give it a bit of good flavor. I'll put coconut water in it because it will help me with my hydration. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. See, we're incorporating all the wellness things. And coconut water is a really good natural source of electrolytes. So it's great to drink that and not always have to just rely on, the ones we buy. And so and then I'll throw in my protein powder in there and it will keep me full for like a 4-hour shift, which is so good. You used to not be able to go 2 hours without eating. And yeah, and then sometimes I'll throw in dates if I need a source of carb and fiber, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I'll also throw in almond butter or some sort of nut butter if I need to throw in a fat, because oftentimes I'll actually have this smoothie and just bring it to work and drink it on its own as like a snack. And so I want to make sure I have all the things in my smoothie that will help me digest it. I recently had this smoothie with a ton of protein powder and I didn't put any healthy fats in there and it hurt my stomach. And so I think I put too much protein powder and I didn't have the things I need. I didn't have the core 4 to help my body break it down. Okay, sorry, I just hit my mic stand. I have one more example before we close off. I don't think I've ever done an episode this long. If you are still here, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Let me know in the comments if you're enjoying this. What's the biggest takeaway you've had from this? What is the thing you might incorporate in your life, or what's something in here that you already have going on in your life and don't feel like you need to incorporate anything? I hope this just made you laugh or kept you entertained. Okay, so my dinner that I've had lately that's really easy to bring to work is I'll do like a big meal prep and I'll do sweet potato, I'll have rice or quinoa, and I'm realizing that quinoa is so good. It has such a great source of fiber, and it's a bit of a carb. I'm pretty sure. Fact check me on that. So it's more nutritionally dense than rice. And I'll make ground beef with a bunch of like onions and fucking awesome spices. Throw some peanuts on that bitch. It's so good. And also veggies, obviously. I'll cut up some bell peppers, put some zucchini in there. And so then I feel like I have this like nice, well-rounded meal. I'm realizing in my diet, I don't have as much vegetables as I think I should be having, but like I'm into salads. Sometimes I'll make myself a salad. It's great. It's fun. It's sexy. And I am feeling like my energy levels are 10 times better than they have been in my whole life, to be honest, not to be dramatic. And it's crazy because growing up, my parents just love them to bits. And I think they get a little butthurt when I say this. They're cooking white people central. Salt and pepper and some barbecue sauce, and we're eating some fucking baked potatoes and chicken drumsticks and some peas on the stove that were steamed. Yeah. Yeah. I love my dad, but he'll be like, want to come for dinner? And I'm like, no, thanks. I'm okay. I'll come chat with you guys after dinner. My boyfriend is teaching me how to cook better, and I can confirm I'm finding so much more joy with food. And to go full circle to my grandma's story about her being like, Jessica's always hungry. I think as a kid, I was always hungry because I didn't eat like a full meal because I would eat a bit and then be like, I'm bored and feel a little bit satisfied. And so I wasn't filling my tummy. And everyone said I was picky. And now I'm like, guys, I think I need to go give young Jess a hug and tell her it's okay and it's not her fault. You're eating really plain tasting, shitty tasting food where the texture is all you can taste. The texture is literally all you can taste. And that is the thing I struggle with the most. When I go eat chicken curry at my boyfriend's house, I'm like, the spice level is like, my tongue is on fire. You can't even think about the texture of this food. It is so flavorful and it tastes so good, and it is also so spicy that it's like you're just living your best life. I'm actually a bitch with spice, but no wonder. Like, I grew up eating barbecue sauce chicken. So when my boyfriend and I started dating, it was so embarrassing, and it's 4 years deep, and now I'm finally learning how to cook better. And so I'm like obsessed with my ground beef dinners because I will season that like there's no tomorrow. And his mom will give me spices that she's literally brought back from India. It is insane, and it is so fucking good. And I am just like, Jess, you're doing good. You've come a long way. And I want to say this just to really share that it feels so intimidating sometimes to learn new things, and I have felt insanely intimidated by figuring out foods that taste good and that can support my body. Like, I have literally cried to my boyfriend being like, I don't know how to cook rice. I don't know how to cook rice, Josh. I use a rice cooker, and because of that, the rice doesn't ever get fully cooked. I don't put enough water. I don't know how to cook rice. And he was like, "What the actual fuck do you mean you don't know how to cook rice?" I'm like, "I don't know how to cook rice." Like, I just see people like boil it, but then they turn it off and then it cooks while it's not boiling. And he's like, "Jess, I just cook it like I cook pasta." And I'm like, "Okay, okay." And all of these things I've included into my life have taken a long time. Oh, I haven't even told you what the brand of the protein powder is. LOL, I went on that whole tangent about shitty protein powder and I didn't even give you the details of my protein powder. It is New Zealand protein, grass-fed plus, 8 probiotic, 100% whey isolate. I don't know. I know protein powders have a lot of like different things about like, does it have dairy? Does it not have dairy? This one does not hurt my stomach, and therefore I am enjoying it. And it's Swiss chocolate flavored. It's sugar-free, lactose-free, keto-friendly, antibiotic, hormone-free, 256, 25 grams of protein, 5 billion probiotics, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So life is good. It takes a while. It takes experimentation. It takes playing around. And nobody's perfect. I gotta work it. It takes a while to learn your body. So don't be so shameful. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's gonna be okay. I promise you. The last thing I implemented many years ago was seed cycling, and this helps support the hormones that are shifting and helps keep your hormones balanced while you're going through your different phases of your cycle. And so in the first phase, which is your follicular and then your ovulatory phase, those are like your hormones are starting to like climb, you're getting a lot of energy. I'll include flax seeds and pumpkin seeds into my diet. And then once I'm switching out of my ovulation phase into my luteal phase and my menstrual phase, sesame seeds and sunflower seeds help support your hormones. And so those I don't have to think as deeply about because I've been doing it for like 3 years at this point. So again, start with one thing, slowly implement. I hope this was helpful. I feel like this was an insane tangent. This went on for so long. And so thank you so much for listening. And next week, the episode will not be an hour long and it will not be an entire breakdown of my wellness regime. It'll be more conversational, more chitty chatty. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, again, please let me know at With Jessica Jane. Subscribe, submit a comment here, and subscribe. Yeah, I already said that. Okay, wow. My brain is just, it's done. It's done. I'm going to go eat my avocado toast and my smoothie, and I'm pumped about it. I love you. I will talk to you soon, and just know that we're all on the journey, and there's no wrong answer. Do what you can to make yourself feel good today. Okay, love you. Bye.